Okay, number 1. Use substitution to solve each system of equations. Now remember, there's 4 ways of doing this. You could solve for this x, describe it in terms of that y, solve for that y, describe it in terms of that x, solve for this x, describe it in terms of that y, or solve for this y and describe it in terms of that x. All of these are even, so the division is going to work out nicely for this one, so I'm going to solve for this y. So we've got negative 8x plus 2y equals 4. Add 8x to both sides, so that's negative 8x plus 8x plus 2y equals 4 plus 8x. Those cancel. I'm left with 2y equals 4x plus 8x. I'm sorry, 4 plus 8x. Divide both sides by 2. 2 over 2 is 1, and that leaves us with y equals 4 over 2 is 2, and positive 8 over 2 is 4x. And there we go. And we've got y equals 2 plus 4x. So then we can use this other equation, 8x plus 5y equals 38, and we can plug in for y. Or we can substitute for y. 8x plus 5 times whatever y equals 38. And we're going to take what y equals, and we are going to plug it in right there. So we've got y equals 2 plus 4x. And let's distribute properly. Positive 5 times 2 is positive 10. Positive 5 times positive 4x is positive 20x. And that equals 38. We're going to combine our like terms. We've got 8x, positive 8x, and a positive 20x. You combine those and you get 28x plus 10 equals 38. I'm going to skip a step here. By subtracting 10 from both sides, you get 28x equals 28, and obviously x equals 1. So now we've got part of our solution. When x equals 1, what is y? Well, we can use either one of these equations to figure out what y is. Let's use the first one. 8 times, and when x equals 1, and that means y is going to have to equal 5y equals 38. 8 times 1 is 8. Subtract 8 from both sides, and we're left with 5y equals 30, and so y equals 6. And you should always double check your work. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 5 times 6 is 30, and 30 plus 8 is indeed 38. Negative 8 times 1 is negative 8, plus 2 times 6 is 12. Negative 8 plus 12 is indeed 4, and so these are our correct answers. Number 2, I am going to solve for, let's solve for g right there. Let's use 7f plus 3g equals negative 6. Alright, so subtract 7f from both sides, and that gives us 3g equals negative 6 minus 7f. And then divide by 3. Divide by 3. Those simplify to 1. And g equals negative 6 over 3 is negative 2. Plus negative 7 over 3 f, or negative 7f over 3 is negative 7/3 f. And so now we have a way of describing g in terms of f. So then we can use our other equation, 7f minus 2g equals 31, and substitute all of this in for our variable g. So we've got 7f minus 2 times whatever g is, and all of that equals negative 31. And we know that g is negative 2 minus 7/3 f. And so what we've done is we've taken, just like in the last example, we've taken a 2-variable equation and we've turned it into a 1-variable equation. Now, if you got this far, don't mess up on the algebra. 7f, negative, then we have to distribute. This is negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. And then negative 2 times negative 7/3 f is positive 14/3 f. And all of that equals negative 31. Okay, so let's combine 7f plus 14/3 f plus 4 equals negative 31. Let's get rid of this. Well, no, let's combine these first. So to combine 7f and 14/3, we need a common denominator. If this is 7 over 1, excuse me, I'm going to just erase this. We're going to multiply 7 over 1 by 1, but we're going to describe 1 as 3 over 3. And that way this will be 21 over 3. So I'm going to erase this right here, and I'm going to rewrite this as 21 over 3. And then 21 plus 14 is 35, so this is 35f over 3 plus 4 equals negative 31. And I'm going to show all of you a common mistake. A lot of you do this. We're going to subtract 4 from both sides. 31 minus 4, this is 35f over 3 equals, and 31 minus 4 is negative 27. And we're going to continue now. And if you are continuing and you don't see the mistake, then you are one of the people who is careless and makes this mistake. 31 minus 4 is 27, but negative 31 minus 4 is not 27. It is negative 35. So many of you make that mistake. Still. So we've got 35 thirds f equals negative 35. We multiply both sides by 3, and we get 35f equals, what is that, negative 105. And then we divide it by 35, and that equals f equals 3. So there we go. We know what f is. Now we just need to find g. And I'm going to erase all of this because we need all this space. What was it? F equals 3 or negative 3? All right. So now we know f equals negative 3. So what does g equal? So we can use either one of these equations. I'm going to use the first one. 7 times negative 3 plus 3g equals negative 6. 7 times negative 3 is negative 21 plus 3g equals negative 6. I'm going to add 21 to both sides, which gives me 3g equals, and negative 6 plus 21 is positive 15. So I'm actually skipping a step. I'm adding 21 on this side. So what I did was I added 21 on this side, and I added 21 to that side. So I got 3g equals 15, and g equals 5. So f equals negative 3, and g equals 5, and you can go ahead and double check that by substituting into those two equations, which I highly suggest that you do. Number 3. All right, describe one variable in terms of the other. Here, this is simple, or this is fairly obvious. I'm going to solve for x, and in fact, I'm going to just skip that step. X equals 2 minus 5y. Now I'm going to use this equation and substitute 2 minus 5y in for x. So this is what x equals. I'm going to write 2 times whatever x equals plus 7y equals 1. 2 times what does x equal? 2 minus 5y. Then I'm going to distribute properly. A lot of you are forgetting how to do that. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 2, positive 2 times negative 5y is negative 10y plus 7y equals 1. Combine your like terms, negative 7y and negative 10y and positive 7y is negative 3y, so that's 4 and negative 3y equals 1. Subtract 4 from both sides. 4 minus 3y equals 1 minus 4, and that gives us a negative 3y equals negative 3, which means y equals 1. Now I'm going to erase all of this. Oops, I guess I didn't need to do all of that. Now we know that y equals 1. If y equals 1, what is x? So let's use this equation because I like it. X plus 5 times what's y? Well, y is 1, or we think it's 1. And that's just a 5, so x plus 5 equals 2. Subtract 5 from both sides and we get x equals negative 3. And again, oops, that's the wrong color. When x is negative 3, y is 1. Since we have an x and y, we can write negative 3 and 1 as an ordered pair. And we should double check. 2 times negative 3 is negative 6, plus 7 times 1. Negative 6 plus 7 is indeed positive 1, and we just used that equation, so we know that's right. So this is the correct answer. Number 4. 4x plus 2y equals negative 14. I'm going to use this equation, y, because they're all multiples of 2, so the division is going to work out nicely. I'm going to solve for y. So that's 4x plus 2y equals negative 14. I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. So that's negative 14 minus 4x. I'm going to divide both sides by 2, and this is what I meant by the division working out nicely. Negative 14 over positive 2 is negative 7, and then negative 4x over positive 2 is negative 2x. And so we now have described y in terms of x. So we're going to take our second equation, 5x plus 3 times something y equals negative 17. And what does y equal? We take what y equals and we plop it in there. That's negative 7 minus 2x. And we're going to rewrite this 5x. Now we have positive 3 times negative 7 is negative 21. Positive 3 times negative 2 is negative 6x. I'm sorry, negative 2x is negative 6x. And that equals negative 17. Now, let's combine our like terms. 5x and negative 6x. And when you mash those together, when you add 5 to negative 6, what do you get? You get negative x. Minus 21 equals negative 17. And now we're going to add 21 to both sides. Negative 21 plus 21 equals negative 17 plus 21. Gives us negative x equals positive, I'm sorry, did I put 20 there? Why did I put 20? Plus 21. This gives us negative x equals positive 4. But we don't care what negative x is. All right, it's nice that we've isolated our variable, but we don't want to know what negative x is. We want to know what positive x is. So what do we do to both sides? We multiply it by negative 1, multiply by negative 1. Negative 1 times negative x is positive x, and 4 times negative 1 is negative 4, and so we know that x is what? Negative 4. And now we can find our y. And do I need more space to do this? Yeah, I probably do. So x is negative 4. Okay. So we now know that x equals negative 4. So we can, we can use either one of these equations. Let's use the first one here. 4 times negative 4, because x is negative 4, plus 2y equals negative 14. 4 times negative 4 is negative 16, plus 2y equals negative 14. Add 16 to both sides. I don't think I really need to do this. Out. Those cancel, and negative 14 plus 16 is going to equal positive 2. Divide both sides by 2 and you get y equals 1. So when x equals negative 4, y equals 1, and because you have an x and y, it's in proper form to put your solution in terms of a coordinate. Negative 4, 1. And you can go ahead and double check that. Oh, let's just do it. We just did the first one. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20, plus 3 times 1 is 3. Negative 20 plus 3 is indeed negative 17. So yay, we are correct. Number 5. Coach Ross took the soccer team out for pizza at Rini's after the game. The bill came to a total of $68. If there were exactly 14 items on the bill, how many large pizzas and pitchers of soft drinks did the team order? Okay, well, we know that a large pizza costs $12 and a soft drink or a pitcher of soft drink costs $2. So we know that $12 times the amount of large pizzas ordered plus $2 times the amount of pitchers of soft drinks ordered came to a total of $68. We also know that the amount of pizzas that we ordered plus the amount of pitchers that we ordered was a total of 14 different items. So this should be easy. This is very much like the examples we've been going over in class. We can describe L in terms of P. L equals 14 minus P. And then we just use this definition of L. And we plug it in for L right over there. All right, so that's 12 times whatever L is, which is 14 minus P, plus 2P equals 68. Ta-da. Now 12 times 14 is, 144 plus 24 is a 168. Times 14, let me double check that. Oh yeah, it's 168. So that's 168. And then that's 12 minus, or times negative P is negative 12P plus 2P equals 68. And I hope you follow me here because I'm running out of space. I'm going to subtract 168 from both sides. No, actually, I'm going to combine these like terms. You know what? I'm just going to use this space right over here. Combine these like terms. Negative 12P and positive 2P gives us 168, and that's a negative 10P equals 68. I'm going to subtract 168 from both sides. 168 minus 168 minus 10P equals 68 minus 168. Well, this is interesting. Those two cancel, and I get negative 10P equals 100, which means P equals, I'm sorry, that's negative 100. P equals 10. Lovely. So I'm going to erase all of this, and I'm going to find out if I ordered, or the team ordered 10 pitchers of soft drinks, how many pizzas did they order? And that's not hard. All right, if P equals 10, and we know, we're pretty sure that that's true, then if P equals 10, that's 10, then 10 plus what is 14, and we know that L equals 4. And we can double check this by plugging it in to this equation too. 12 times, if L is 4, that's going to be 48, and 2 times P, if P is 10, that's going to be 20. 48 plus 20 is indeed 68. This is the correct answer. Number 6. Cheryl and Jackie work at an ice cream shop. Cheryl earns $8.50 per hour and Jackie earns $7.50 per hour. During a typical week, Cheryl and Jackie earn $299.50 together. One week, Jackie doubles her work hours and the girls earn $412. How many hours does each girl work during a typical week? Okay, let's describe what we've got. I'm going to use C for the hours that Cheryl works and J for the hours that Jackie works. We know that Cheryl works she earns $8.50 for every hour she works, and Jackie earns $7.50 for every hour she works, and on a typical week, using typical hours, they earn $299.50. Now, one week, Jackie doubled the amount of hours that she worked. So Cheryl still worked a normal amount of hours, but Jackie worked not her normal amount of hours, but 2 times her normal amount of hours. So that would be 2 times the normal amount of hours that Jackie works. And on that week, they earned $412 even. So what do? We describe one variable in terms of another. So I'm going to use this equation, and I'm going to simplify it. 7.5 times 2 is 15J equals, $412. Oops, that's 8.5c. I'm going to solve for j, so this gives me, and I'm going to continue this over here, 8 point, I'm sorry, no, I'm going to subtract 8.5c from both sides, so I'm left with 15j equals 412 minus 8.5c, and then divide both sides by 15, and I get j equals, I am not going to simplify yet. I'm going to use the fractions. 8.5 over 15, because I have a feeling this is all going to work out in the end. Okay, so j equals 412 over 15 minus 8.5 over 15c. So I'm then going to plug that into my original equation, and I'm going to use this space down here. Or am I already doing that? Yeah, no. I'm going to use this space down here. 8.5c plus 7.5, and we know that j equals 412 over 15 minus 8.5 over 15c, and all of that equals 299.5, or $299.50. All right, let's distribute properly. All right, C, positive 7.5 times 412 over 15, and here's where keeping your fractions comes in handy. 412 times 7.5, nope, 412 times 7.5 divided by 15 equals, look at that, nice beautiful number, 206. And then 7.5 times 8.5 over 15, that's 7.5 times 8.5 divided by 15 equals another nice number. Now this is positive 7.5 times a negative 8.5 over 15. So that comes out to negative 425c, and that equals 299.5. So let's combine our like terms. We've got 8.5c and a negative 4.25c. All right, combine those and you get, that's just half. So that's 4.25c plus 206 equals 299.5. I'm just going to abbreviate. And then we subtract 206 from both sides. So 299.5 minus 206 equals 4.25c equals 93.5. Divide both sides by 4.25, and we get the fact that the number of hours that Cheryl works is 22. Woo! All right, now I'm going to erase all of that. And we know that C equals 22. So we're going to use this first equation and find out what J equals. So that's 8.5 times 22 plus 7.5J equals 299.5. 8.5 times 22 equals 187. 187 plus 7.5J equals 299.5. And then I'm going to skip some steps here. That's 299.5 minus 187 divided by 7.5. And that gives us J equals 15. And there's our answer right there. Number 7, write the equation for the line that passes through those 2 points, then find the x and the y intercepts and graph the line. Okay, so this goes back to about 2 months ago when you first learned this. Write down your y, your x, your m, and your b. What can you find given the information you know? Well, you've got 2 points. We know that m equals delta y over delta x, which is just y2 minus y1 and all that fun stuff. So let's do that. 28 minus negative 14 over negative 11 minus 10. Now, negative 28 minus negative 14 is 28 plus 14, and that gives us 42. And then negative 11 minus 10 gives us a negative 21, and 42 divided by negative 21 gives us a slope of negative 2. Yay. So now we can write our equation, y equals negative 2x plus b. We want to find b. How can we do that? Well, we need to have a value for x and a value for y. Do we have one? Sure, we've got one. We've got a pair there. We've got a pair there. Which one do you need to use? Either one, it doesn't matter. But we know I'm going to use this one because they're even numbers and they're nice. When x is 10, y is negative 14. So y is negative 14 when we plug in 10 for x. And here we can solve for b. Sorry, that doesn't look like a 14. So negative 14 equals negative 2 times 10 is negative 20 plus b. Add 20 to both sides and you get 6 equals b. So we know that the y-intercept is 6. So now I'm going to erase all of this. Now that I've written my line, or an equation for my line, I can say that y equals mx, negative 2x, plus b, which is just 6, and I can find my x and my y-intercepts. My y-intercept is easy. When x is 0, y is 6. So when x is 0, y is 6. And when y is 0, so we'll set y to 0, x is going to be what? I'm sorry, that's plus 6. Subtract 6 from both sides, we get negative 6 equals negative 2x. Divide both sides by 2, and we get negative 2, and we get x equals 3. So when y is 0, x is 3. And there we go. We've got 2 points. Now, you can just graph your line. Now I'm going to use the slope here. If the slope is negative 2, I know that that's negative 2 over 1, or it would be 2 over negative 1. So, let's see. I'm going to go from this point to that point, and I'm going to fill in some points. So I'm going to go up 2, 1, 2, and then back 1. Up 2, 1, 2, and back 1. And then I'm going to get some points down here. I'm going to go down 2 and over 1. Notice I'm using both versions, both descriptions of the slope. Down 2 and over 1, down 2 and forward 1. And there we go. And now I can just sketch that line. And there we go. Now your quiz on Friday is going to contain one of these problems. And if you notice, this one problem is like 5 problems from the quiz a month ago. You've got to find slope, you've got to find the equation of the line, you've got to then find your x and your y-intercepts and use those to graph the line. So if any of that confused you, then go back and watch it again. If all of that was familiar, but you need to refresh your memory, then go back and watch it again. Make sure you can get the same answers on your own before you see it worked out. Okay, that's it. Good luck. I'll see you tomorrow.